So, guys, real quick. So, what I found out kind of the hard way, man, which has kind of helped lead me into some situation issues. So, if you've been self-employed, man, okay, if you've been self-employed, if you've had your own business and things like that, and you just so happen to need to go back into the workforce, it can be a headache. Okay, it can be a problem. Like you would think that the fact that you show that you can run your own business, that you've been, independent or self-sufficient for a pretty, adequate amount of time, you would think that employers would embrace that, or that they would acknowledge that as a strength, or like a benefit or an advantage for their company. But unfortunately, I hate to break it to you guys, but it is the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. So, from my personal experience and also from knowledge of talking to some of my peers and some of my friends and colleagues that I've had that happen to work in the HR departments and stuff like that, they have expressed to me that the fact that I've had my own businesses and that I've been successful with that has actually been more of a deterrent for companies to hire me for for a couple of reasons. For one, it shows that I'm not comfortable with the regular average everyday 9 to 5. Okay, I want more. And anybody that runs their own company, they want more. That's why they do it, because they don't want to be the little guy on the totem pole. They don't want to be taking orders from people. They don't want to conform to a regular, conventional 9 to 5, day in and day out grind. They have a ambition that is not meant to be capsulized or to be, what we say, to be stunted or to be held back. All right, people that seek to own their own businesses, that have had the success that I've had in many cases in my businesses, have shown that they are unwilling to conform. Right? They have a strength that is actually part of the reason why they deviated from the regular path. Right? Me personally, I have, and yes, that is a thing. I don't feel comfortable just working for anybody. Now, granted, I got a degree, and I also minored in communications, but I have a degree in criminal justice. So I've gotten into the criminal justice field. Right? I started doing criminal justice work, started doing law enforcement, and I walked away from that and got into doing my own business and stuff again. Now, granted, the pandemic helped to kind of push me off that path a little bit, and then I started getting into my own thing. Like, guys, I've done so much things. When I talk about business, like I've had my own car sales business. I've uh, I've sold real estate. Um, I've uh, I've been a barber. Um, I've uh, I've written books. Okay, I have a book on Amazon right now. I'm finishing up the illustrations on a second book right now. Um, I've uh, I've had a computer repair business. Okay, I've wow. I'm just thinking about all the different things I've done, man. And wow, yeah. So aside from that, guys, I have my own online business. Yes, I've done Uber and Lyft and stuff, which is essentially like your own business. Okay. Um, I've done quite a few things, man. I have. Um, and it's become apparent, abundantly clear to me, that the fact that I've done that and I've been dipping and dabbing, like I'm in the workforce, that I'm doing my own thing. I'm in the workforce, like that's just a common thing with me. So when employers pull up my resume, and they look into my work history, they see this like, oh, he had his own business. I ran a basketball organization for like 10 years. So I had that business, like they see that I'm not likely to stick, and they're about right. Chances are it's a good possibility that I won't stay at a job for long, because as soon as I get the stuff that I need in order to, start to rebuild and get back into another business, that's what I'm gonna do. And they're right about that. Like, I'm only looking to get back into the workforce so I can get enough capital and get my credit back right, to whereas I can walk in and grab, another property, another piece of land project, and start working on it. That's all I'm looking to do. And that's what you have to do. A lot of people try to start businesses and they try to live off the business before the business can carry itself. Well, essentially, you have to get, your nest egg. You got to get yourself established in order to start your business. A lot of people do it backwards, man. I have a friend, and I was trying to tell her, because she's been trying to go about her business the wrong way the whole time, and I've learned from my own mistakes. Like, look, you need to make sure you solidify home and stuff first before you be trying to do your business stuff. And she's went through some of the same struggles that I have in trying to do this stuff backwards. All right, it's like somebody trying to launch a rap career and you don't have nowhere to stay. Like, secure your home first, then get your rap career off the ground, right? So me and this friend, we got into it because I was trying to tell her, like, look, she was okay. She was trying to explain to me, like, oh, my business has not been doing as well because I had this come up, I've had this and that. She got a whole bunch of excuses. Now, granted, she been doing this business for like 7 years or something. So if your business ain't been taking off, jumping like it's supposed to in 7 years, then probably you're doing something wrong. You need to be able to take constructive criticism. You got to look at what you've been doing and reevaluate. Try to assess what failures you've had in the business that's leading ultimately to the business not being as productive or as being as successful as it needs to be. But for her, she had a hard time accepting that. And her family and friends have also tried to tell her this, and she's one of those ones that wants to block everybody out and thinks everybody's against her because they said, try this or do it differently. And that isn't necessarily the case. Like, I told her, like, your business could be successful, but I think you're doing it the wrong way. You're trying to lean on your business, and your business is not ready to carry you, right? And so she got frustrated about that because she felt like I was against her. I'm like, nah, just get you a regular job, work that, build your capital, get your business moving to where it's on its own, it's on autopilot. You trying to run the business, and you don't have the funds or the means to do it, and it's not producing enough fruits at this point to carry you, right? But that's beside the point. Let me get off track. Point of the matter is, guys, employers frown upon it. They feel like you're a flight risk. It's a good chance you won't be there. So if they see somebody that's into their career, they just get started, they feel like, oh, they'd rather get into that. That person may very well be a long-standing employee. Whereas somebody like me, I've showed a more of a likelihood that I would venture off into other, other projects or other opportunities. Okay, and they're not looking for that, man. I literally showed a propensity to engage in other types of work, independent work. And when you see a guy like me and you put that next to a guy that's just coming in, that's just jumping into their field and stuff, they're gonna go with the person that's jumping into their field because they don't show that they likely to leave. You know what I mean? And then they know that people like me don't want to conform to the traditional 9 to 5. They also looking at, okay, how long have they been doing? So yeah, guys, as I was saying, they're gonna hire somebody that they believe is more likely to stay for the long haul. That really wants to get entrenched in their career path, their career goals, and wants to remain a part of that particular company. They're not going to look to hire somebody that has a resume that's littered with self-employment. Okay, and that's something that me particularly I have. it didn't become so much a thing until after the pandemic, because I got involved with several different, self-employment type of positions or opportunities. And now when employers see that, they like, and they ask me, like I went to an interview or two and they've asked me about it. At least they bring you in to ask you about it. So talking to some of my friends that are in HR and whatnot, they did advise me to take those things off. Okay, to take them off, or either to have someone else be the owners of those companies. You know what I mean? Like, so they say like you should probably have one of those on there, not 2 and 3 different self-employment positions, because it's going to hinder you from obtaining a position. So this is something I had to really look at, man. I had to think about it, and it makes sense. I mean, as a owner of a company, of several companies, do I want to hire somebody that looks like they're going to only be there for a couple of months or a year, and then they're going to get their own business back going? Probably not. So this is just my advice to those that are, that are independent or self-employed like myself, man. You don't want to put that on your resume. Okay, you don't want to put that on your resume. I know you think it sounds good, it looks good, but it's actually the opposite. It's hurting you. So you want to go with either somebody else owning that company and you as an employee of the company, or you don't want to put it on there at all. And if you can avoid, it might even be better, from what I'm hearing, is to have it as just unemployed during that time that you were self-employed. Like I've had these gaps where, what I'm saying, like, yeah, you look like to them you're not working, but for me, I was working, doing my own businesses and making pretty good money at times. Like, guys, I've done business, even doing Uber and Lyft. There's, I went through a stretch of 3 or 4 months where I was making like 10 grand a month. That's self-employment. You know what I'm saying? And I was making good money. So why would I go work for somebody making 2 grand a month when I'm making 10? So of course I wanted to stay with that. And then with my own business and with my online business, I was making 10 grand a month. Kid you not. So for several months did that. So in those when you get to a point where you can see that and you doing that yourself, no, why would you want to go work for somebody else? You probably don't. I didn't. So I maintained that. Now I'm like, okay, if I can continue to do jobs where I'm making this kind of money a month, like I said, I did real estate. I've rehabbed homes, and sold them and made, a good amount of money in these times, to whereas it makes sense for me to continue on that path rather than go work for somebody and make a fraction of that. And they understand that. These companies understand that you've got a taste of somewhat of the good life, or where you kind of make your own hours, you kind of, call your own shots. There's no cap on your potential earnings. I like that, and that's what I'm always going to pursue. I'm not going to ever be comfortable just working a 9 to 5. So it's the pros and the cons of being self-employed. Like, you're going to bump your head. You're going to have your miscues and things where you're not going to always be, on top. Like, some months is better than others. Like, I've had months with my online business where I might only made $1 grand or $2 grand. Then I had months where I made 10 grand. So it just it's an up and down, and it's like that with companies too. The only difference with companies, they still required to pay you, a certain amount every month. Now, granted, they had the longevity and they have sustainability with those companies, whereas they kind of know the projections and stuff that they expected to receive on a monthly basis, ongoing, annually and everything, because they've done it for so many years. So they've got these projections. They can kind of estimate where they're going to be. But for new companies like your own or like mine, where that first 3, 4, 5 years, it can fluctuate. That's why they say don't expect to live off your company in that first year. You should keep maintain your regular day job until it shows that it can carry itself. And I said that even when my online business was pulling 10 grand a month for a couple of months. And people like, yo, you made it, yo, you doing good now. I'm like, no, let me slow down, because I have to see if this is going to sustain itself. I can't get to a point where I'm celebrating and let me go buy this new car, let me go get this crib. No, because you don't know what type of factors are going to, come in that could derail the success of your company. Okay, and it's just like any other company, just like the economy. So sales is going to be up when the economy is good. Like with my online store, the sales went down when the economy went bad, when people are hurting for money. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect companies the same way. But guess what? When companies had this problem, what they do, they lay people off. I got laid off from a job. That's one of the jobs I last had that was pretty good. I got laid off because they stopped receiving the amount of students that they were getting. Okay, so I was working like for a college, so they weren't getting as many enrollments, so they said they had to backtrack. And granted, when things were going good before the pandemic, they were planning to increase like the enrollment and start to add more campuses and things, because that's how the growth was going. After the pandemic, that stuff went down, so they had to downsize, they had to lay off. Okay, so they start cutting people's pay, cutting people positions. They start downsizing. Well, as a company, as an entrepreneur, as a owner, independent, self-employed owner, you are the only one. So guess what? When sales and stuff down, boom, you can't lay nobody off but yourself. You gotta lay off of getting freaking breakfast McMuffins. You gotta lay off getting your cappuccino in the morning. You gotta lay off getting cheese on your cheeseburger. You gotta lay off of going out and spending $100 on a dinner later that night or that weekend. You gotta lay off on stuff. You gotta lay off on some of the trips that you're doing. You gotta lay off. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing as layoffs. It's just you taking a little more of your income away to compensate for the loss. All right, so this is what happens, and this is what I was already accounting for in my company. I said, okay, if this happened, then I'm gonna have to take some loss. I'm gonna have to figure some stuff out, right? And that's what you gotta be able to do, and that's what companies do, big time companies. So it's the same thing, man, and you gotta be able to account for it. So that's kind of why, like, for me, yeah, I've had to go back into workforce when sales is down or when stuff ain't moving the right way. And I've been fortunate. I've been thinking like, okay, at least I have a degree to fall back on. I have experience to fall back on. I have knowledge, I have the ability to be able to, think like an owner and understand the different ins and outs of running your own business, so I can understand how these companies might perceive me as being self-employed or being independent for so long. They looking at me the same way I would look at someone else. You don't want to bring somebody in that's going to be a flight risk. You understand what I mean? So it's just my advice, man, for you guys that are independent and you are looking to get back in the workforce and stuff. Address your resume by taking it or removing so many of those different instances, or if you had long time or long tenure with your own company and now you're trying to get back in, you might want to remove that. It makes sense. It'll probably help you out in the long run. So anyway, guys, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just want to put that out there because I felt like, hey, this is affecting me. It's probably affecting a lot of other people. People need to be aware. So it's like, hey, self-employment versus 9 to 5. I would choose self-employment every single time. But in the case where I need to get back into a position where I can launch or relaunch or reestablish my own business, then I'm going to choose to do 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is just a means to get to where you're trying to go. It's just a stepping stone, man. It's just a stair step, man, to get you in the right direction. All right, but it's not. I don't think 9 to 5 is really for somebody to, to stay in, unless you want to be running. You want to, even if you make it 200,000 at your job. Would you rather make 200,000 work for somebody else, being on their schedule, having to worry about check to check if they're gonna lay you off or something, or would you rather have your own schedule, your own time, your own hours, your own growth potential that you control? Okay, like I said, I'm gonna choose my own business every time, but you're gonna run into your shortcomings and you're gonna have some failures and things. Like Michael Jordan said, man, hey, he missed 28,000 shots and he was trusted to take the game-winning shot 16 times and he missed, you know. But he's not talking about the ones that he made and stuff. All right, but you have to have failure in order to have success. You learn from your failures and you move forward from them. All right. So yeah, guys, hope everybody figured this out, man, and you know, take the right precautions when applying to get back in the workforce, so you don't have some of these shortcomings that I've come across myself. All right, just wanted to put that out there. I hope everybody's good, man. If you haven't got a chance to, go check out my ebook that I have on Amazon right now. It's Credit Crack Code, man. I believe it's $12.99. It will give you the credit secrets, man, to reestablish your credit on a level to where you can walk into any bank, get what you want, do what you want. All right, and that's what I'm getting back to now. I'm about to reestablish that, which is gonna open me back up to be able to do my own business stuff like I was before. So anyway, guys, hope y'all good. I will catch you on the next video.